Yo, what do YouTube? B Kelly back again with another banger. Today's video, y'all, I'm going to be talking about my takeaways from the first playoff rankings that was dropped this past Tuesday. Now, I know I'm not the first one to be making a video on this, but I've been planning on making a video on this since it dropped. I just haven't really had the most time to make this video. Also, I will be doing these videos every week where I do a takeaway from the playoff poll that is dropped every Tuesday until pretty much bowl season starts, which is in about a month. Also, the first playoff ranking that is usually dropped usually isn't the biggest deal. It's just kind of the blueprint of where teams are going to be at and kind of gives you a visual aid of what teams have the best shot and what teams kind of have no shot anymore. So my first takeaway from the playoff rankings that were dropped on Tuesday is that the Big 12 isn't completely... The two teams with the best shot in the Big 12 right now to make a pretty big push at the playoffs is OU and Iowa State. But I will say the chances of those two teams making it to the playoff no matter what is very slim. I'm just saying they have a shot to. It's not completely out of the picture. And obviously, if both teams wanted to go to the playoffs, they both have to win out, and one of them has to win the conference. OU's remaining schedule is Baylor and West Virginia, and they might drop a little bit in the next rankings because the West Virginia game actually got moved to the 12th due to virus issues at Oklahoma. So I definitely expect OU to drop in the rankings a little bit in the next rankings. And the thing with OU is that they have a lot on the line right now. They literally have to win out the rest of their season to make it to the Big 12 championship game. If they lose one game, they're more than likely out of the Big 12 championship game. With Iowa State pretty much clinched a Big 12 championship spot today. As of the recording of this video, they actually beat Texas today 23-20, which almost clinches them a spot in the Big 12 title game. Now, they haven't completely clinched it yet. They still have to beat West Virginia the next week, but they pretty much have it in the bag if they just beat West Virginia. And the thing with Iowa State, if they beat West Virginia, I think you can definitely expect them to jump in the rankings, pretty much because they just beat Texas, who was ranked 20th in the playoff rankings from this past Tuesday. And not only that, OU did not play this past weekend, and OU's ranked 11th, and Iowa State does have the head-to-head win over them, and since Iowa State won a game against a top 20 team, and OU's game got postponed, you could possibly see Iowa State jumping OU in the next ranking, making it a lot easier for them to make a playoff push if they do, in fact, beat West Virginia in their next game more than OU. My second takeaway is that the Pac-12 is honestly kind of screwed. The main reason why I think they are screwed is because the Pac-12 only has two teams in the playoff poll. They're both not ranked very high at all. Oregon is their highest ranked team at 15, and USC is ranked number 18. They are both 3-0, which you can say is impressive all you want, but if you've been watching them at all, you can tell that Oregon and USC have not been playing the best football at all so far this season. They've both been just squeaking by. Not only that, but there's other teams in front of them. For example, teams in the SEC and Cincinnati who are in front of them. They can make a way bigger playoff push than both of those teams just because of where they're ranked right now and how much season is left in both of their seasons. Now, I'm not saying Oregon or USC can't make a case if one of them goes undefeated, but the thing is, you're not making a good case for yourself if you're just barely squeaking by against teams who are considered mediocre or maybe even below average. My third takeaway is that Cincinnati has the best shot out of all the non-Power 5 teams, and they have an actual really good shot at making the college football playoff right now. Cincinnati currently sits at 8-0 on the season and the best team in the American Athletic Conference, and they're currently the 7th ranked team in the playoff poll. And obviously, they have the best ranking out of all the non-Power 5 teams in the current playoff poll. If Cincinnati can beat Tulsa in their next game and win their conference in the American Athletic Conference Championship game, they have a real shot to go to the college football playoff. The teams currently ahead of Cincinnati are Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Florida. Now, obviously, only one team is able to win each conference that they're in, And there's 3 SEC teams ahead of Cincinnati currently, and the way I think it's going to play out is that Alabama's going to win the SEC, and that Clemson's going to defeat Notre Dame in the ACC championship game. And I think Cincinnati has a real shot to go to the college football playoff if they end up finishing undefeated. But the thing is, in all seriousness, I feel like they're going to get snubbed by the end of it in my prediction, mainly because they do not have the legacy like Notre Dame does. And Notre Dame did beat Clemson earlier in the season, which is going to give them a lot of leeway since Clemson was a #1 ranked team at the moment. And I feel like if Clemson beats Notre Dame, they're both in the college football playoff no matter what. My 4th takeaway is that BYU has almost no shot at making the college football playoff anymore. BYU is currently ranked 14th in the playoff rankings. Currently, right now, BYU is 9-0. They are undefeated, and statistically speaking in the rankings, they have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. But the thing that is BYU's biggest flaw this season is that they really haven't played anybody yet. The best opponent they've played so far is Boise State, and even when they played Boise State had 2 quarterbacks go down, and Boise State was having virus issues at their school. BYU's strength of schedule is going to be their downfall. If BYU seriously wants to make a serious push at the college football playoff and try to get in and make their claim, they're going to have to schedule someone that is near their level or a team that is currently ranked, which they could try to schedule Cincinnati. Cincinnati does have an open week next week, and they do too, so they could try to play each other. But the thing is, they have to find someone to play. They don't need to play someone that is a Pac-12 team that isn't very good. They need to actually play a Pac-12 team that is pretty good, like an Oregon, a USC, Arizona State, someone like that. They do not need to schedule someone who is a bum, though. Now, this one I'm about to say might be a little controversial to some, but this is just my opinion, y'all. These are my takeaways, not anyone else's. But I kind of think Northwestern might just be a little high. Now, I'm going to say this. I think Northwestern's defense is a top 10 defense, maybe even top 5 in the nation. Their defense is actually deadly. It's lethal. But the thing with Northwestern that I think is very suspect with them is that they do not have an offense, and they haven't really gone against the best teams ever. Now, they did beat Wisconsin this past weekend, but I really don't think Wisconsin's the 18th best team in the nation. And not only that, Wisconsin hasn't played football in a while, and most of their games have been canceled. Now, Northwestern does have a pretty good shot at going to the college football playoff. They only need to win one of their games to go to the Big Ten championship game, and they have very high odds to win out the rest of the season going into the Big Ten championship game, where they're more than likely going to play Ohio State. And when they play Ohio State, I am predicting them to lose. I'm sorry, Northwestern fans. It's just, I think that Ohio State is going to beat y'all no matter what. And I'm sorry that I'm saying that, but I just think Ohio State is just going to beat y'all. You guys will compete for a little bit with your really good defense, but I don't know if the offense is going to get rolling against them. The offense for Northwestern, in my opinion, has been suspect all season except in the very first game of the season versus a Maryland squad with a new head coach and a bunch of new players and a bunch of new faces on their offense. But the thing with the team with Northwestern is, I don't think the offense is good, like I stated. And when y'all play Ohio State, more than likely in the Big Ten championship game, I just don't see how you're going to keep up with Ohio State's high-powered offense when you do not have a good offense at all. Now, I do think you guys will compete, like I said a little earlier, but your defense can only do so much for you. You have to have some offense in there as well. And I just don't think you guys are the 8th best team in the nation right now. I wouldn't take it as an insult. I do think you guys should be just outside of the top 10 right now with your record and all that. But I just do not think they are a top 10 team. That's just my opinion. Well, guys, that's the end of the video. Remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly, out.